Greetings, my friends. Please consider supporting me in my war to save pop culture by subscribing to my channel and possibly even becoming a channel member for exclusive videos, access to Doomcock emojis, and more. And if you like this video in particular, please consider using the new Super Thanks feature and putting a tip in the tip jar located next to the like buttons down at the bottom of the video. Thank you for watching, and now, on to the video. Greetings, my friends. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, broadcasting from my hidden base at the center of the Earth, and I am here today with some intel leaked from inside Disney, allegedly, regarding the fierce struggle going on to fight against woke destruction from the snowflake vandals that are dismantling Walt Disney's legacy one property at a time. In this instance, we're talking about a famous Disney ride being attacked by whiny woke wankers who view the origins of the ride as problematic. And while some of you out there may not care so much about a single park ride, I'm here to tell you, this is merely another front in the war on woke, and as such, it matters just as much as the cultural vandalism of Star Trek, Star Wars, and Doctor Who. The aims in all of these cases are the same, my friends. Attack the credibility of the past by corrupting the traditions of the past, in this case, entertainment. See, every time these scumbags trash a hero like Luke Skywalker or Captain Kirk or the Doctor, they demoralize those who love those characters, and the manner in which they vandalize these characters tends to suggest that those characters were created by problematic people in times of bigotry and discrimination, and thus every time they destroy one of our modern geek myths, they're not only targeting those fans to be demoralized, they're also laying another tile in the mosaic of the big lie, stating how horrible the past was in the United States, condemning the history of this nation and the validity of this nation. It sends a subliminal message that, hey, everything you know about the United States is wrong. It was fundamentally flawed from the beginning, built on racism and sexism and discrimination, and all of you people are problematic and should be ashamed for loving what you love. This is what they're telling your school children, who are not of color or gay, every day, undermining their self-esteem, brainwashing them into feeling ashamed of themselves, their parents, and their country, all for the unpardonable sin of being white. This is evil any way you cut it, folks. So when I say there's a battle going on over a ride at Disneyland and other Disney parks, it matters. This is one attack in the same war to destroy Western culture, and that's why I'm reporting on it today. We've got a very detailed account from a walk-in source reaching out to me to cover the effort inside Disney to save Splash Mountain and Disneyland from the clucking cucks who want to shame Disney's past and control its corrupted future.
You know, I've never been to Disneyland, obviously, since Disneyland remains unstomped to this day. And if I'd been there, oh yes, some stomping would have ensued. But from what I understand, Splash Mountain is a ride that everyone loves, with a long tradition.
You understand correctly, Harvey Cthulhu. Iger is moving fast to try and erase Splash Mountain from history in every Disney park, converting the ride to a corrupted woke version that has Disney park fans up in arms. The ride is already doomed at Walt Disney World in Florida. The demolition has begun and Iger is pushing it through as fast as possible. But the coming war is centered over at Disneyland, which has the original Splash Mountain, a ride that Iger is also doing his best to destroy. For those of you who don't know, the reason Splash Mountain is on the verge of being erased in favor of a new ride is because Splash Mountain incorporated characters from the now banned Song of the South movie, a lovely film that is now considered problematic and banned from public view simply because it was set during a time of slavery. Not that slavery was a part of the movie per se. The movie centered around the stories Uncle Remus told to the children about Brer Rabbit and his friends, or adversaries as the case might be. The film reflects the attitudes of the time, and thus the cultural vandals spreading the woke plague throughout Hollywood have effectively gotten it banned, just like they'd love to ban Gone with the Wind, but since Gone with the Wind is widely regarded as one of the greatest films of all time, the the little woke wankers have had less luck with that one. But even so, they have condemned Splash Mountain for its modest affiliation with Song of the South, and Iger and his woke cronies are doing everything they can to destroy the original Splash Mountain attraction inside Disneyland. But that said, a walk-in source has contacted me with details about the struggle within Disney to save Splash Mountain before it's too late. At this point, I must say that what I'm about to share with you is information provided to me by a walk-in source, but since I cannot personally verify any of it, I am presenting it as unverified rumor, and I ask you to please take it with a grain of salt. Also, I will point out that special care must be taken with walk-in sources not vetted by my Hollywood spies, so take this one with a couple of teaspoons of salt just to be safe. Nevertheless, this account is so full of detail, I think it very well may be accurate, and I wanted to share this with you because, if true, it represents a side of Disney we rarely see, an element inside the company that is still fighting to turn the tide against rampant wokeness, because part of the woke agenda is to make wokeness seem inevitable. Like the Soviet juggernaut in the 50s and 60s, a juggernaut that collapsed, and it's important to bear that in mind, folks. I'm telling you, we are winning the war on woke, even as battles like this are lost. And even inside the wokest companies, we still have good people pushing back, a resistance, if you will. And some of those people are leaking out information in an attempt to stop the madness and sound the alarm. I will present this message mostly verbatim, just editing out any details I feel might give away information on this source. Here is what I was told, quote, "There is currently a huge battle going on between Ken Potrock, president of Disneyland Resorts, Bob Iger, and several members of the board of directors. Ever since Disney announced that they would close Splash Mountain and replace it with a Princess and the Frog attraction, there has been a relentless onslaught of complaints from customers. Back in October, Ken Potrock became active in trying to stop Splash Mountain from being closed. He is very concerned over customer backlash and the negative impact it will have on the parks. He had little luck with Josh Damaro, who has more or less refused to take a strong stance on the issue, although he generally leans towards wanting to continue with the Princess and the Frog plan. He was having some luck with Bob Chapek in the board. The board was and still is divided on the issue. Back in early November, Ken pretty much had Bob Chapek on board to keep Splash Mountain. They were trying to come up with some sort of public exploration as to why Splash Mountain would not be rethemed, and were scampering to come up with other ways to bring Princess Tiana to the parks. It was decided that at Disneyland, Tiana would get a rethemed restaurant for the time being, and that later on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride would be rethemed into a Princess and the Frog attraction. For Magic Kingdom, they were talking about doing a new attraction that would use much of what they had already built for the retheme. Behind the scenes, Bob Iger was very against this and wanted the retheme to happen. Once Bob Chapek was out, Iger wasted no time. He put a plan together to announce the closing of the attractions. Ken Potrock also acted quick. He moved up the timeline on a major Indiana Jones refurb, knowing that Splash Mountain could not be closed at the same time that Indiana Jones and Toontown were both closed. He did this mainly to buy time. Disney still plans to close the Disneyland version of the ride. They are currently targeting May or even early April. They plan to announce the closure in mid to late March, possibly even sooner if Iger gets his way. Ken Potrock is fighting this tooth and nail. He has a little less than half of the board of directors on his side. Nelson Peltz, who is trying to get a seat on the board, is also on board with saving the Disneyland version of the ride only. Ever since they closed the ride at Magic Kingdom, the complaints from customers wanting Splash Mountain to stay has been growing exponentially. Potrock has also been fighting to bring more elements of the original Star Wars to Galaxy's Edge. Between Galaxy's Edge and Splash Mountain, Iger wants Ken Potrock gone, but the board of directors is not on board with that and is starting to come around on keeping Splash Mountain at Disneyland only. It's a big mess right now, and no one knows if the ride is going to close for sure or if Ken will even remain in his position. A lot of pressure is being put on Josh D'Amaro to take a stance. Shit is about to hit the fan. Unquote.
Very interesting, Doomcock. Ken Potrock is doing what it can to rally support for saving Splash Mountain, but if this source is correct, he also realizes how badly Disney screwed up Galaxy's Edge, and apparently realizes the absurdity of a Star Wars theme attraction without any Star Wars in it. Good for him.
But possibly not so good for his career, O Skull of Calderon, because, as this source says, Iger wants Ken Potrock gone for the unpardonable sin of trying to give the customers what they want. No one outside the Twitter sphere wants Splash Mountain gone. It's a piece of history, for God's sake. A truly beloved ride that has existed for decades and has nothing at all racist about it. It's just a theme park ride. Fans love this ride, but fuck the fans. It has to go because it offends snowflakes, wankers, and twits. Disney is now a non-profit company, apparently, since they constantly reject projects and policies that will give fans what they want in favor of brainwashing fans with gay content, girl power, and other woke propaganda. Let's hope that Ken Potrock can find a way to stop this destruction, but if this story is true, one thing is strongly confirmed. Bob Iger is not on the side of fans. He's been taken by the pod people. And thus, the war for Disney's soul rages on. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha